the very beginning of your sobriety wasn't a secret, but it was much more private. And I wanted to know, like, what was there a turning point? Because we'll get into the personal, but was there a turning point to make you actually come out and to really get vocal and get loud about it in such a positive way?
Yeah, that's actually really great. I've thought about this a little bit. I think initially, just it was really just the embarrassment of it initially. I mean, honestly, although I was pretty solid, I don't know if I was as solid as I am now. Like, I'm learning how to walk in this identity of just not being a drinker. Like, it's not a thing to me. I don't care if other people drink. I'm not like anti-alcohol. But at first, I think it was two part. I think there's part of you that, even though it felt pretty solid, you just kind of wonder, is this really me now? Am I going to go back or whatever? And then the other part is just embarrassment. I mean, that's what kept me drinking for so long. Although I will say that it was only about an 11-month period of the 9 years that I was actually trying to stop. But I hadn't admitted to myself that I was an alcoholic. And so once I finally admitted that, that's whenever like the switch happened. It was at that moment, almost exactly. And then you process, like, especially as a dad, as a Christian, as a business owner, like it felt kind of dirty. It felt like I was letting people down, and in some senses I was, like, I wasn't living up to me. Doing my I wasn't reaching towards my full potential.
That makes sense. I saw a video of your wife kind of telling the journey a little bit. One thing that's fascinating about you is that you're a bit of a serial entrepreneur. At the same time, both you and your wife, in doing it really, really well as a team. But specifically with one of the videos, you chose, and it seemed deliberate, to keep yourself in frame, right? Like superimpose your image in the corner. And kind of two questions I really wanted to ask about that is, number one, when she's describing this, it's never easy as a man to hear, especially publicly, which is that's a different level, right? Kind of the inner feelings and the realities. Now, I'm more than positive this is not the first time you've heard some of this stuff from your wife, but while you're recording this live and you superimpose yourself, what's going through your mind as she's kind of describing those 5 years or so where she really wanted to kick it into gear?
I think, well, I mean, like, we have talked about this quite a bit, and I will say that there are moments when, especially when I'm reacting to someone's, reach, like when someone reaches out to me with, a problem, and it seems like they just aren't quite ready yet. It's really frustrating now, knowing, having been there. And so in those moments, sharing my frustration with, just in private conversation with me and her, she'll kind of remind me that I was there. And in those moments, I sort of feel like that's an element of kind of keeping me at this place that I used to be. And so we work through that. I mean, her intention is never to hurt me or to have a grudge, or, but it just come it my there's still some sensitivity in some places. However, publicly, or just in general conversation, I- one of the things I've realized in this journey is, like, I talked to a lady not too long ago who's just going through her second or third divorce, and one of the main causes, I guess you could say, is an issue with alcohol. Her previous husbands just have chosen that world, right? And so she was just this was actually a coaching call that I was on, and I was signing up for something, and she just laid this out, she had just gone through something, right? And when she was done just sharing her heart, and she was, trying to, not tear up, it clicked with me that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, is so that women don't have to go through this, right? Not that I can, control it all, but I seemingly have some sort of impact. And so my wife sharing her side of it, her version of it, from her point of view, I think is so much more helpful than any embarrassment or whatever that I might have. we really work well. We work better as a team, and that's always been something that's kind of set us apart from most couples. It's always been sort of odd to interact with other couples because we don't have a his and her bank account, his and her hobbies, his and like we do everything together, and our kids do everything with us as well. So we even debated on her being on here. I'm at a point where I want to really hone this skill of just kind of talking about these things by myself. But she's like, at arm's reach if I need her. But yeah, so I think it's the importance of her sharing that message that other women can relate to. Everybody's story or level of bad, is going to be different. But that the low that we came to was probably as low as we could handle, and so that's why when the change happened, and so her point of view is huge in this story, and she was a big part. If I could share with other people, or if she could share with other people the way that she handled it, because we've talked about this too, like, we've was there anything else she could have done? Should she have asked or questioned it more, or put me on the spot more, confronted me more? And I think no, I think she handled it as perfect as possible, because it really comes down to what I know now is it doesn't matter. Like, I didn't do this for her. I didn't do this for my job, my house, my kids. I mean, there was elements of that I thought about, obviously, but it had to be a choice that I made, that I had to come to, and that's the hard spot. So I think learning, helping women understand that it could be a short process. It could be, I mean, some women deal with this forever, and it never gets better. But harping on them, and as a wife out there sharing the Fit Over 40 Dad page with your husband, that's not going to help, right? That's just going to cause tension and resentment. And so I think just meeting your spouses where they're at, as and I may work on this a little bit more, like fine tuning that thought, but she did it about as good as it could be. So.
What's going on, guys? If you like that clip right there, you will love the full interview. You can check that out right there. I'll see you on the next video. Oh, and subscribe, because we got a lot of big things coming up in the near future.